promise you better back up because you're not going to like what's coming out. I promise you. Back out. Back up. Babe! Get off my property.
Are you going to my property? You got me?
Get off the property. Get off of the property!
According to a study conducted by Rutgers University over 10 years, which involved 1,000 adults, fostering positive and frequent connections with our neighbors can profoundly impact our sense of self-worth and purpose. It may appear insignificant to exchange a friendly wave or lend a helping hand to a neighbor, but these small gestures have the power to nurture a strong bond and reinforce the idea that our individual contributions hold value within a community. Unfortunately, however, not all neighborly interactions are positive. Occasionally, you might find yourself dealing with an annoying neighbor. Even rarer, yet undeniably distressing, is a situation where a neighbor embarks on a mission to ridicule, provoke, and harass you. In this video, we discuss such a case. Let's dive in. Vineland is a city in Cumberland County, New Jersey, with a population of 60,780 according to the 2020 U.S. Census. The city was named after the area's fertile soil, ideal for growing grapes and other fruits. One unique aspect of Vineland is its drive-in theater, the Delsey Drive-In, one of the few left in the United States. Notable individuals who were born in or residents of Vineland include the American educator Lael Lane, professional baseball superstar Mike Trout, and, more recently, gaining notoriety, the TikTok personality Zachary Latham. Zachary Latham is a 21-year-old man who gained fame as a social media micro-influencer on TikTok and public scrutiny for his off-screen conduct. At the age of 16, Zachary moved into his grandparents' house, nestled on Thornhill Road in Vineland, New Jersey. In social media posts, it is suggested his mother is deceased. Zachary was emancipated at 17 years old and enlisted to serve as a private in the New Jersey National Guard. He lived in the home on Thornhill Road with his grandparents and wife, Sarah Latham. Zachary, a speed enthusiast with a penchant for social media, was fond of capturing his daily experiences on video and sharing them online. But there was a less commendable side to him. He had a knack for provoking incidents to get a reaction. He frequently disrupted the peace of his neighborhood by revving his car engine and speeding down local streets. He has many videos on his TikTok account where he shows off his cars and boasts about confrontations with locals.
You said I'm an Yeah?
Zachary was well known to local law enforcement as well. His past included numerous police encounters, and by April 2020, he was facing a pending juvenile court case, charged with simple assault, terroristic threats, and criminal mischief. On TikTok, Zachary portrayed himself as a carefree and rebellious outlaw. This image appeared to boost his popularity and garnered him a following of over 40,000. Online, Zachary wholeheartedly embraced his bad boy persona. He frequently posted videos with captions that purported to express who he was or how he was perceived, such as "always loud," "cuts everybody off," "revs at the red light," "what's the speed limit," and "gets hated on for having a nice car." Zachary's practice of roaring down suburban streets filled with playing children and cyclists, at speeds greater than 100 miles per hour was more than just an annoyance, it was a genuine safety concern. 51-year-old Vineland resident William Durham Sr., who lived 4 houses away from Zachary, believed it was his responsibility to address the issue. After all, as a seasoned corrections officer, he knew a thing or two about confrontation. William Durham Sr., referred to as Timmy by those close to him, worked for the past 19 years as a senior corrections officer at the Southwood State Prison in Bridgeton, New Jersey. Timmy was a proud graduate of Vineland High School. Prior to his employment as a corrections officer, he and his wife Catherine owned and operated a successful carpet cleaning business. Timmy resided on Thornhill Road in a home he shared with his wife and 2 sons. He was described as a family man whose hobbies included home maintenance, restoring old Mustangs, and dirt bike riding. The Durhams lived a mere 4 houses away from Zachary and often witnessed his driving habits. Having spent years dealing with hardened criminals, he had no qualms about confronting an 18-year-old. Timmy approached Zachary not long after the teenager moved into his grandparents' house. He witnessed Zachary drive recklessly on Thornhill Road and respectfully asked that he cease. Later that day, Zachary, who was 16 then, personally visited Timmy's home to apologize. But the peace did not last long. Zachary continued to drive erratically, and ultimately he and the Durham family became locked in an ongoing conflict for the next 2 years. As Zachary continued to speed down the streets, neighbors grew increasingly frustrated. On one occasion in April 2020, after allegedly racing down Thornhill Road, Catherine had the chance to confront him. She asked Zachary to slow down while he recorded the exchange.
What are you going to do, Karen?
That's not my name, so get my name straight. Go ahead.
You okay, Karen? Go ahead, get my tag.
Joe,
Get my tag, Karen.
my name is not Karen, so get my name straight.
Get my tag, it's okay.
A45MFA. Sir, there's an officer.
All because my car is loud. 3 cop cars.
Shortly after the incident, Zachary posted the video to his TikTok account, and lo and behold, the video went viral. It was viewed 3 million times by TikTok users. Many commenters mocked Catherine, while others suggested he should cut her tires, egg her house, and go after her. Seeking to capitalize on the video's viral success, he shared more videos centered around Catherine, even openly mentioning her by full name. To entice his followers, he promised to disclose the Durham's home address should another one of his posts reach 1 million views. According to Durham family attorneys, a few days after the viral incident, Mr. and Mrs. Durham were tending to their yard when Zachary drove by and shouted, "Hey Karen, we went viral." By April 26th, according to a TikTok video posted by Zachary, the Durham's home address had been made public. It was unclear by whom. Zachary's videos gained so much attention that others would come to Thornhill Road and speed off loudly outside the Durham's home. In one TikTok post, Zachary wrote, "When people rev at Karen because they saw my TikTok and they call the cops on me." 21-year-old William Durham Jr., upset about his family's address having been posted online, confronted Zachary days later.
A knife, dude, you better play. I'm calling the cops on you, that's good. Alright. Yeah.
Zachary recorded the incident and turned it into additional content for his social media account. According to a letter from the Durham family attorneys, several law enforcement officers and a Superior Court judge also live in the neighborhood and were aware of Zachary's behavior. Some had even contacted Vineland police about the ongoing matter. The letter further states that the Durhams had previously called the Vineland Police Department multiple times to complain about Zachary. Still, police allegedly informed them they couldn't file a complaint right away because the courts were closed due to the raging COVID-19 pandemic. The Durham family attorneys explained that when the Durhams escalated the matter to Acting Police Chief Pedro Casiano of Vineland on April 29th, they heard a similar response. While Casiano confirmed other complaints about Zachary, the attorneys noted that he was limited in his ability to act because of court closures. In addition, as mentioned in the letter, Casiano agreed to consider discussing possible cyber harassment charges with the prosecutor's office, but the family received no subsequent updates. By May 4, 2020, the Durham family had reached the end of their rope, fed up with Zachary's antics and disheartened by what they saw as inadequate support from local law enforcement. Yet they had no inkling of the chaos that was about to unfold. On May 4th, the Durham's 17-year-old son told his parents that Zachary had swerved his car in an attempt to hit him while he was cycling. Dismayed by a lackluster response by the police in the past, They felt they had little choice but to take matters into their own hands. The Durham family waited for Zachary to drive down Thornhill Road on his way home. When they spotted his truck, Timmy pulled his vehicle out of his driveway to block Zachary's path. The two trucks were nose to nose, creating a tense standoff. Timmy was seated in the driver's seat of his truck, while Zachary and Sarah remained inside their vehicle. Zachary's two male friends sat in the bed of his truck. At this point, Catherine confronted Zachary about the alleged swerving incident.
Why are you guys recording when you came out of the house first?
Just like you swear, you wanted my freedom today, right?
When?
Hey, what?
When?
When?
Yeah.
You don't remember? Today, when you were driving this way, and you swerved and pushed him against the curb.
I didn't push me against the curb.
You did
Yeah.
it?
You guys have a video? You guys have on video? Because I didn't do that.
Yeah, we do have it on video.
I'd like to see it.
The cops already saw it.
Oh,
Oh, that sucks.
I know I didn't, you guys.
You did, right here in this truck.
What, him or him? I honked at him because he was in the way. I didn't hit him.
Hey, on the side of the road?
I didn't hit you though, man. She said you did.
No, I did not say that. You know what? I said you go straight to the road. You're 18. Come on. You're 18. Come on.
Get out of his
Get out of my
face.
face.
Get out of his face.
No.
Get out of my face.
Get out of his face.
Oh, did you hit me? Did you hit me? Now.
You guys on video, right?
According to prosecutors, video footage captures a severe escalation of their dispute, with Zachary allegedly throwing an elbow at Catherine, pushing her back, and knocking the phone from her hand. Investigators claim she sustained a black eye as a result. Following the incident, Zachary raced away with his two friends still in the bed of his truck. But the confrontation did not end there. Not long after Zachary, Sarah, and his friends got home, Timmy, Catherine, and their two sons turned up on the property. Zachary's wife, Sarah, recorded what happened next.
I promise you, you better back up because you're not going to like what's coming out. I promise you. No. No. Back out. Back up. Babe! Get off of my property.
Oh, you got a jump on my property? You got me? You brought me?
Get off the property. Get off of the property.
Shortly after the clash, Zachary placed a call to 911.
911, where's your emergency? There's blood all over the place. I just got assaulted and jumped. Are you the one that got stabbed? No, that was the other victim, but I got beat up really bad and I have blood all over me. All right, so you're at 2986 Thornhill as well? Yes. All right, and you want an ambulance? I don't know. All right, the person, the people who did it to you, are they still there? They came with trucks, came on my property with guns, and then when I fought them off, they drove away. All right, how are you injured, sir? My windpipe was crushed in, and I got stomped out and choked by like 10 people. All right, and where are you bleeding from? I don't know. There's blood all over me. I don't even know if it's cut. There's blood all over our garage. Okay. Now the person came in and said they had guns and they were going to kill us, and they came in my garage and attacked all of us. There's 4 people. Okay. Hold on 1 second for the police, okay? Okay.
In the aftermath of the incident, Timmy was transported by ambulance to a local hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 9:19 p.m. Zachary was treated for a concussion and brought to the Vineland Police Department for questioning, where he learned of Timmy's passing.
You're getting charged with aggravated manslaughter, aggravated assault, possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, aggravated assault with attempt to cause serious bodily injury, and unlawful possession of a weapon. You realize what that means?
Yeah.
And I know it's a kick in the face, but your actions, everybody's actions cause this incident, your actions caused this man's death.
He's
You didn't know what that.
what?
Yeah,
No.
that's aggravated manslaughter or something. The father of death.
No.
Breathe. You're a grown man, okay? And this shit went way bad. I have no idea what you're feeling right now. I don't ever do.
Following the interview, Zachary was arrested and charged with first-degree aggravated manslaughter, 2 second-degree counts of aggravated assault, and various weapons offenses. Despite the strong objections of the prosecutors and the grieving Durham family, Zachary was granted pretrial release that same month. He also received permission to move to Florida pending trial. He eventually found work as a car salesman at an Infiniti car dealership in Fort Myers. Meanwhile, the Durham family members did not escape charges for their roles in the deadly altercation. The Cumberland County prosecutor charged Catherine with criminal trespass and simple assault. The 2 sons were charged with criminal trespass and aggravated assault. None of the Durham family members were held in custody. The trial of New Jersey versus Zachary Latham would begin in March of 2023.
National Guardsman accused of killing his neighbor in New Jersey to become famous on TikTok is now spending time in the Lee County Jail. Thank you for counting on NBC2. I'm Peter Bush.
And I'm Kelly Burns. Florida Highway Patrol arrested Zachary Latham this weekend. The teen is already awaiting trial for tasing and stabbing this correctional officer back in May.
Following his pretrial release in New Jersey, Zachary relocated to Florida. However, his legal troubles followed him as he was arrested once more, this time in Fort Myers. He allegedly threatened another motorist with a BB gun fashioned to look like an AK-47 while out on release. His latest charges include felony aggravated assault for allegedly brandishing a weapon and a second count of aggravated assault for attempting to intentionally ram the other driver's vehicle. Zachary was released from Lee County Jail after posting a $40,000 bond, but this incident led to his conditional New Jersey release being revoked. Zachary was returned to New Jersey 4 months later and held in custody pending trial. As reported by NJ.com, before the Zachary Latham trial commenced, Judge Kristen D'Arrigo ruled that he would consider all evidence of social media interactions between Zachary and the Durhams before May 4th and evidence of Zachary's alleged past misbehavior inadmissible. Typically, this is because, from a legal perspective, such evidence could potentially prejudice the jury, thereby hampering the fair trial rights of a defendant with a criminal history. The fundamental principle here is that a defendant should be judged based on the merits of the current case, not vilified due to their past misconduct or any assumptions about their propensity to commit crimes. On March 30th, 2023, the jury heard opening statements in the trial of New Jersey versus Zachary Latham.
We expect that the defense will try to push the blame on the Durhams, that they came looking for a fight. But we're going to ask you to look closely at the videos. We're going to ask you to watch the defendant's face. We're going to ask you to watch their actions. We agree. The Durhams went down to the defendant's home. Yes, they did. They intended to confront the defendant. Yes. But the defendant escalated that confrontation inappropriately with the use of deadly force. He sought to use a deadly weapon, a knife. He had that knife ready and waiting for the Durhams to arrive. And you're going to see through the evidence that's anticipated that the defendant did not honestly or reasonably believe that deadly force was necessary. That the defendant could have retreated inside of his home, including his garage, and he would have been in complete safety. And therefore, it fails to justify the use of deadly force against Tim and Billy. Now, at the end of this trial, the judge is going to explain the charges and the elements that comprise each and every one of those charges. He's going to explain to you what the law is. And until that time, we're going to ask you that you look at the defendant's conduct. Look and decide if that conduct was reckless and if that reckless conduct caused Tim Durham's death. We're going to ask you to look at the defendant's choices. When and where did he make them? When did he decide to get the knife? Now, we can all sit here and think back to when we ourselves have acted recklessly. Maybe we've done something we shouldn't have. Maybe we were in a place we weren't meant to be. But being reckless in a legal sense is more than that. A person who causes another's death does so recklessly when he is aware of and consciously disregards a substantial and unjustifiable risk that death will result from his conduct. I'm going to ask you to think, what would a reasonable person do? Would a reasonable person have entered their home, grabbed a knife, left their home to come and meet the Durhams in a situation that's already hostile? Or would a reasonable person have gone into their home, shut the door, and called the police? Now, this is in all senses a tragic situation, and I understand the difficulties that you're going to face as this trial continues. You're going to see a young man sitting in front of you, but I'm going to ask you to remember who's not in the case. I'm going to ask you to remember that Tim Durham is in here. Tiffany Durham no longer has a husband, and Billy and Gage have to grow up without a father. And at the end of this trial, we as the state are going to ask you to find justice for Tim. We're going to ask you to find the defendant's actions were not justified in causing Tim's death. And we're going to ask you to find the defendant guilty.
They brought the fight to him. They were on a mission to get him. They were going to stop at nothing to get at him. Understand this. Zachary Latham sits here today only because he refused to submit to a savage beating at the hands of 3 big, capable men who collectively outweighed him by well over 300 pounds. I'm talking about William Durham Sr., his then 21-year-old son, William Durham Jr., and his then 17-year-old son, Gage Durham. I didn't even include their mom, Catherine Durham, in the arithmetic, but she was very much a part of the attack as well. Now, these men and women were highly motivated. They acted in an uncontrolled manner. They trespassed upon Zach's property. They ignored repeated warnings to withdraw. You're going to hear video evidence The whole event was captured on video. You're going to hear repeated warnings. You're going to hear Zach and his wife, Sarah, repeatedly admonish these people to back up, quote, back up, get off the property, get off the property. All these admonishments are ignored by the Durhams, and they continue on with their attack. Even moments before Zach was attacked, he was standing at the entrance to his garage, which the judge is going to instruct you later is part of the house or the dwelling. Those are legal words. So you're going to hear that this is his castle. We'll talk a little bit more about that concept later. The judge will talk to you about it as well. But he's in his home. He has no duty to retreat in his home. There's no duty to retreat in the face of an attack in your own home. He doesn't have to give any explanation why he didn't retreat or anything of the sort. So please understand that right from the beginning.
By the time I got to examine him, he only had 50 milliliters, about a half a cup of blood left.
You sound a little surprised by that. Why were you surprised by there only being 50 milliliters?
Because you know that a person's not going to die from just a half a cup of blood loss. And, you know, from experience, you know that there was bloody clothing. I know that I had the information before I did the case of what happened. I was told there was blood, and I know that at some point in time he had a lot more blood in his left pleural cavity.
How were you able to determine that there was more blood in the left pleural cavity than what was present?
Like I just said, between the bloody clothing, description of the scene from, I think, law enforcement who was there, and I just knew there was more blood than this 50 milliliters at the time of the autopsy.
Would the chest tube also have assisted in the drainage of any blood that would have been in the chest cavity?
That's correct.
Had you seen this document before today?
No.
Would it surprise you to learn that your criminal charges were dismissed?
Very surprised.
So sitting here today, did you know prior to coming in to testify the status of your criminal charges?
I'm very surprised.
Throughout the trial, the prosecution attempted to prove that Zachary provoked the fatal fight and recorded it for social media fame. They argued that Zachary incited the confrontation when he struck Catherine, then lured her husband to his home, where Zachary retrieved his weapons. In addition, prosecutors contended New Jersey law requires that the defendant has a duty to retreat first when outside the home, and Zachary had sufficient time to retreat into his house and call the police once the Durhams arrived. Further, they declared the fact that he did not retreat made his subsequent use of force unreasonable. The defense maintained Zachary acted in self-defense and feared for himself, his wife, and friends when the Durhams trespassed onto his property. Attorney Christine Long stated, "You don't have to wait for someone to storm your house to defend yourself. You're allowed to prevent someone from attempting to come into your dwelling." According to New Jersey self-defense law, a person has a duty to retreat first when outside their own home. However, a person has the right to employ force to defend their home. To exercise this right, the person must not be the initial aggressor and must be unable to escape by way of complete safety. Under these conditions, the use of deadly force rules apply. A person must genuinely believe that the force is necessary to thwart a crime being committed by the aggressor on their property. Before resorting to force, the defendant is typically required to ask the aggressor to cease their actions. However, as with numerous legal matters, it's important to remember that rare exceptions exist to the general rule. After a 2-week trial, it would be up to the jury to determine Zachary Latham's fate. The central question before the jury would be, was the defendant justified in using deadly force? After hearing closing arguments and jury instructions, the jury began their deliberations.
How do you find on the count of the indictment
charging that the defendant on or about the 4th day of May 2020 in the city of Island, county of Cumberland, aforesaid, and within the jurisdiction of this court, did recklessly cause the death of William T. Durham Sr. contrary to the provisions of NJSA 2C 11-4B1 and against the peace of this state, the government, and dignity of the state.
Not guilty.
Spots.
How do you find on the count of the indictment charging the defendant that on or about the 4th day of May 2020 in the city of Vineland, county of Cumberland, aforesaid, and within the jurisdiction of this court, did purposely, knowingly, or under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life, recklessly attempt to cause serious bodily injury to William T. Durham Jr., contrary to the provisions of NJSA 2C 12-1B1, and against the peace of this state, the government, and dignity of the same.
Not guilty. Thank you. Sir, you may be seated. All right, as I indicated, now, juror number 1.
Yes.
No longer full person, now juror number 1. The verdict you just reported, was that your individual verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2, same question.
Yes.
Juror number 3.
Yes.
At the conclusion of the trial, Judge D'Arrigo delivered some poignant remarks. Mr. Latham, you were successful in your defense, but you still have to live with the events of those days and the consequences of it. There's little solace, I know, for the members of the family, but this is our judicial system and this is how it works. There are no winners. It's all losers. But this is a good judicial system and this is the way it's supposed to work. Zachary Latham still faces charges in Florida related to a January 2021 arrest. A trial date has not yet been determined.